Welcome to the Community Sense podcast. I'm Tricia Northeast, a finance broker and a certified spending planner who's all about helping people feel more confident and less stressed about money. I believe financial well-being starts with simple, practical steps and conversations that make sense. This podcast is produced by me on behalf of Attwood House Community Centre and with the support of Hume City Council. Sarah Younan is my guest today, and she's a lawyer with Nevaeh Lawyers. Sarah focuses helping clients with estate planning, ensuring their wills, enduring powers of attorney, and medical advanced care directives are in place and up to date. Sarah also practices family law and estate disputes, providing compassionate and practical guidance to clients during some of life's most difficult and challenging moments. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I really do appreciate your time. Family law and estate planning is your specialty. With that, how on earth did you decide that that was the line of lawyer
Well,
that you wanted to go down?
thanks for having me today.
Okay,
Yeah.
no worries.
So I came into law later in life, I guess. So graduated law, and then I just did general law first.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to see which kind of area that I wanted to do. So family law came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. And it's just an area that I'm interested in. But
Yeah.
estate planning is the area that I practice mainly in and specialize in. So
So important, isn't it, just to have everything in place? It's just,
that's
and,
correct.
and I
So,
suppose what this podcast is all about too is helping people understand what things are
yeah.
and that they even exist and why it's really important to have your estate planning in place.
Definitely. So
Mm.
estate planning, is things like your wills, your powers of attorney, your
Mm-hmm.
medical or advanced care directive. There's also other things where it's like your binding nominations forms with your super.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very important to have. People look at them and it's like, oh, I'm gonna die. I don't care
That's
what
not my
happens.
problem.
Exactly, not my problem, But the problem is you can't rule from the grave. People
Mhm.
think, oh yeah, my kids will sort it out. It doesn't work like that in estate planning or, when you pass away.
I know that we didn't have a will in place for a long time because we thought it was going to be really quite expensive.
Mm.
And in the end, it wasn't that
Then
much. And you go, well, it shouldn't have taken that long for us to get things in place. Do you want to go through what wills are and
yeah,
enduring powers of attorneys and then the advanced care directives as well as a major thing as well, isn't it?
yeah, definitely, yeah. So a will is basically a legal document that sets out your wishes of how you want or who you want your assets to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a piece of paper, one, two, three, just depends on how complex each person's situation is. So, people come up to us and say, oh, I've got two kids from my previous marriage or a blended family situations. So in these kind of scenarios, it's very, very crucial you get a will done.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot rely and say, oh yeah, my blended, family and my current family will sort it out. Doesn't work like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yes, it's just a will is a piece of paper that tells you who your executors are, who your beneficiaries are, and who you want your assets to go to. Mm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And in a will, I know this is a really it's a hard, scary topic, but can you in your will designate where your children go to if both partners pass?
definitely. So if
Oh,
you've got children under 18,
mm-hmm.
they're who do you want your guardians to be? So they're very important. So people
Mm,
at a young age, we're having children a young age now, or vice versa. So everybody that comes to us says, "Oh, I'm quite young," but it's they don't understand the implications that your young children are there if you do pass away or if accident happen.
Oh my gosh.
It-
Reality check. People pass away in their 20s and their
exactly.
30s with young children,
Yeah.
you know. And so you do for the benefit of everybody else, to relieve the stress for everybody else. It's so important to have those things in place.
Definitely, yeah. So
Mm.
you really need to think about who the guardians will be of your children, who's going to,
Right.
manage your children financially and emotionally. So
And this is it too, because where does the money go for them? You need to make sure it goes for your
exactly.
children and all that sort of
Yeah,
preparation, isn't it?
yeah. There's
Yeah.
quite a lot of detail that can be put in a will. Um,
Right. Okay.
yeah. And again, everybody's situation is different, circumstances are different. So you really need to see the lawyer. People say, "Oh, I'm just going to DIY my will," or
Pick one
download
from the
one,
newsagent.
or download one from the internet and fill it out. It really doesn't work that way.
If there's family conflict and you leave some money to one person, but the majority of it to somebody else, does that cover you?
No, so what happens, there's obviously exclusion clauses. You can
Mm,
leave people out. But again, the laws in Victoria, talking about Victoria now,
yeah,
is that you've got to maintain your child, if it is your child that you're leaving out, to the best of their ability. So if you're leaving somebody out and they come and disputes happen, so that child
yeah,
will come and say, "Oh, I've lost all my money," but they were wealthy at that time, then they can make a claim to their state.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. But at least if you have a will in place, there's a guideline of where you want everything to go.
definitely. So you've got, there's also letters of wishes that you can write to say, "Oh, this is why I've let this person out," things
Uh-huh.
like that. So that will definitely support what's
Right.
happening.
Okay. And enduring powers of attorney, they're often done in conjunction with a will, aren't they?
Yeah. So enduring power of attorney becomes active while you're alive.
Hmm.
So a will only applies when you pass away, but an enduring power of attorney is a current document.
Right.
So it only applies while you're still alive.
And they cover financial and medical needs.
So they cover personal and financial.
Right. Okay.
There's a document which is called enduring power of attorney that covers financial and personal. And
Hmm.
there's another document that is called medical treatment decision maker, which covers the medical aspect.
Is that the advanced care directive
That's
then?
correct. Yes. So that
Right.
can also tie into the advanced care
Okay.
directive.
So what circumstances would you need to have your enduring power of attorneys enacted?
So people usually draft them when
Mm,
they're nearing losing capacity,
right.
or you draft them and keep them until you lose capacity, sort of thing.
Hmm.
So a lot of elderly couples, or just people in general, come and say, "I want an enduring power of attorney, but I don't want it to be active until I've lost capacity,
Right.
until I cannot make decisions for myself."
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I thought that's when they were only active, when you've
no,
lost capacity.
no, so there are, but boxes you can
Varying.
tick. Yep, yeah, and you can say immediate. Some people might be bedridden for
Right.
a while, and they'll say, "Oh, I want you to go to the bank and pay my bills. I want you to manage
Oh,
my
yes.
personal
Yeah.
and financial affairs."
Yeah. Because
So,
you've still got your capacity,
yes,
but you don't
so
have the ability possibly to go and do.
that's correct.
Or you've had enough of that and let somebody else that can drive and do things for you. Yep.
That's
Okay.
that's correct. So, yeah, so you can definitely, have it immediate or have it when you lose capacity.
Okay.
Mm.
And so then the advanced care directive, what does that cover more so?
So there is the medical decision maker,
Hmm.
which covers if you go to the hospital, who do you want to appoint?
Hmm.
Obviously, the law in Australia or in Victoria states that it's your next of kin. But say, for example, you've got 3 or 4 children. Do you want them all to act for you? Some
Right.
people will say, "Oh, no, I just want to list my daughters because they're more reliable," or "I want to list one daughter or, one son just to
Hmm.
make it even."
Right.
So they do that in that medical decision maker. And then we've got the advanced care directive. It's how you want your medical to be assessed.
Right. So if I'm
So
in hospital and
I've got this paper which says medical decision maker,
Right.
they'll contact that person for you
Right. Okay.
instead of your, next of kin sort of thing in line. Yeah.
Okay. And that's really important too. If you've said, you know, you might have gone through a life of really bad health issues and you've had enough and you've had lots of treatment over the years and you've in hospital and you can't talk or you can't make a decision or you're in a bad way, let's say,
Yeah.
then it's really important that they step in and follow your wishes as to what treatment you want next, isn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely. So that's
Yeah.
why that's there. It's important, to document how you want things to happen.
Uh-huh. What challenges happen if things aren't in place? I suppose the challenges are that things don't get done the way you want them to be done, isn't it?
Definitely.
I
So
s
if you don't have things like your will, you
mm.
know, when you pass away, who's going to inherit?
What happens if you don't have a will? Where does it go?
So usually there's an hierarchy. If
Mm,
you've got a partner, the partner will inherit. So your husband and wife,
mhm,
it goes vice versa. And then if you've got children, it's in equal shares. However, in this day and age, there are quite a lot of blended families
mm,
or people who are, you know, their children are going away for years and they've got no contact with them. So, so it's quite important to have one because it documents exactly how you want your wishes to be
mm.
implemented. So if you don't have one, it's not the end of all, but people come and argue and dispute it. So do you really
Yes.
want your hard worked assets to go to on your legal fees? Or do you just want to draft this one piece of document that states exactly how you want things to go?
Yeah, yeah. So when did there used to be a threat that it would all go to the government. Is that
No, that's only if you've got nobody. You've got no
right?
family, no children, no friends, no cousins, so no bloodline basically, and
No.
then it goes to them.
But it can get held up for quite a while as well, isn't it?
Definitely. So if you don't have a will, you don't apply for grant of probate. Somebody can apply for letters of administration. And
Sorry. Oh, you lost me there.
yeah, so so there's a
Grant of
big
probate, letters of administration, what were
yeah.
they?
So if you've got a will, you go to, you apply through Common Supreme Court portal for saying this is a valid will.
Right.
That's grant of probate. No will, you apply through what is called letters of administration, which is without a will. So if the person that applies becomes the executor, or if you've got a lawyer involved, they'll do the process for you.
So it's the first one to get to the Supreme Court to say.
Definitely, you want to try and avoid without a will.
Right, okay. Such a minefield to get down because there's not just that, it's then clearing out the property
Def-
sales, collecting all the assets like shares and
yeah,
cars
yeah.
and everything that you've got. What other property is there? Making
There's
sure there's no other family that you didn't know about. All those things that have got to
yeah,
come into it, don't they? You've really got to
yeah,
cover.
definitely. There's
There's a
quite a
lot of
lot.
work in that too.
Yeah,
Have you heard not have you heard, I've heard one time that somebody's left extra funds for the executors in the estate because it's so much work to do. Have you
yeah.
heard of that before? Is that
So,
common?
so if the executors are just, say, example, friends,
Mm,
okay, and they're not receiving a benefit or an inheritance in the will, then someone will leave them a gift or or a small amount to say thank you for doing this job.
right.
Because as executor's role is quite heavy. So
Mm,
they have to collect assets, just like you mentioned. They have to gather all the assets. If there's bank accounts, they've got to go locate them. If there's shares, they've got to try and find them. If there's
mm,
property involved, they've got to clear the property as well, like you mentioned. So there's quite a lot involved in having that role as an executor. You've
right.
also got a liability if somebody comes and makes a claim and you've distributed everything.
Oh, that
Yeah,
could be messy.
so definitely. So it's quite messy.
Right.
Um, but That's why a will actually documents who is left out or who inherits everything or who has, who can get a share of the inheritance,
Right.
basically.
So it really gives people peace of mind. So tying it back into the cost of living crisis that we're going through and
Yeah.
financial awareness, it's just making sure that your money goes to where it needs to go and it's not being wasted on, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
going through the law courts and everything else,
Yeah,
so that, there's more for the next generation, isn't it? Do you reckon?
definitely. So it's definitely, it's a benefit for you to have these in order, your
Mhm,
estate planning, so that way your asset isn't eaten up by legal fees, like you said.
mhm,
So you want to try and avoid any disputes whatsoever, so the money stays into the family
mhm.
instead of being eaten up, by legal fees and court fees and the whole process.
Yeah. What misunderstandings are there about it? Like, is it about how long it takes or as I mentioned before, the cost? Or
Definitely.
are there anything, other
Yeah.
misunderstandings?
Yeah, I think the cost is the big issue. People
Mm.
realize, oh, you think, oh, I don't want to pay this amount of money, but you are saving so much more money in the future.
Oh, the
You
peace
know,
of mind. Once we got our will done, seriously, it was such an ease of mind. I suppose that's been my main theme through this whole podcast, is just having things in place. Just
that
takes that out of your brain about what needs to be done and where it's all gonna go and all that. The peace of mind
definitely.
it gives you.
Mm. It does give you peace of mind and it gives you, clarity as to what's going to happen if you do
Mm,
pass away tomorrow. So I
yeah.
think
Yep, no, fair enough. Um, so is there any, like, stories without saying names and serial numbers that you've
that's
got
quite a
that
lot, isn't there, in the legal industry?
have you got something that, you could say so that people, get a better understanding about what the ramifications are of not having things in place?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned that in my one of the questions to you.
Yeah.
So I had, you know, this client come to me. He said, "Oh, my father didn't draft a will," and I said, "Okay, so what's happening?" He said, "Oh, me and my sister are fighting over his inheritance now." So you've got two siblings fighting over the dad's inheritance, okay, and then it's all getting eaten up in legal fees.
Mm,
It's like, things like that. And it's like, it's quite sad because it breaks the families apart.
mm,
And people don't understand that, oh, yeah, let them fight it out. But you are tearing a family apart.
yeah.
And this client that came to me, he said, I don't have anyone to give my share to. I'm going to give it to my nieces and nephews that he's fighting with the mum with,
Oh,
with his own sibling.
gosh.
So it's things like that. Like it's quite important to have them. Yes, some people will say, "Oh, they cost a lot. I don't want to go through the process. I don't even want to think about what's going to happen when I pass away." A lot of clients are like that. They don't, they're afraid of the future, I guess. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, we're all going to pass. We're
Mm,
not here forever,
mm.
and you just don't know when your day will end. So,
No, no, as I said before, there's a hospital full of young people that are very ill, and you never know what's going to happen, and to have things in place. And like you said, those siblings could have been really close, but because money gets involved and one
yeah,
person's got more debt than the other one, and one's been more financially viable throughout their time, or manage their money differently, or life events for those people as well. And so they go, well, I need more money, or, whatever it might be that causes the problems.
yeah,
It's really heart-wrenching, isn't it, when you
it is. Yeah,
mm,
and people think, oh, lawyers want to eat it, take all our money. It's not the point. We are here to try and help you resolve it. Like this client, you've come to us with this dispute. So it could have all been avoided just by having a will done. Mm.
and so if he leaves his money to his niece and nephew or her children,
Yeah.
is there a comeback for her in that circumstance? Actually
No, not really. No, it's, again, it's his asset, so he can do
Right.
as he pleases with it. Um, but the whole point was that you argue with the mum for this money, with your
Yeah.
sibling, that you're gonna give to her children. Like, you don't have a relationship with
Yeah.
her or her children.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, get
it is
that.
really heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, the advice is you can do wills online. However, they may not be as intense as they need to be. Intense, is that the word?
It's detailed, I guess.
As
It's
detailed.
yeah.
Right.
Mm,
Okay. And take it from me, I know, because I did mine not so long ago, really, in the scheme of things. They're not that expensive.
yeah.
Um, I had all of them, the enduring power of attorneys and everything done, and I was quite surprised that the that I've been putting it off for a few years because of it, because I
Yeah.
thought this scary thing was going to be expensive. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so I suppose that's the one small takeaway, isn't it, about what we can
Yeah.
do
Definitely, yeah.
in order.
So
We're talking about how this all relates to financial well-being. What's one lesson that you've learned that you can share?
so I think when I think about investing, of course, there's the financial side about, growing wealth, growing your property assets if you are into buying properties and things like
Mhm.
that, or shares. But it's also about planning for the future. So when we talk about investing, and estate planning documents are investment in itself,
Mm,
because you are leaving a legacy to your children and then your children's children. So it's all about investing into the future generations as such.
yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? Because if you've got a couple of properties all over the place, like a
Yeah.
majority of people would be one home, couple
Yeah.
of cars, couple of kids,
Yeah.
or blended family, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you've got quite an estate with different properties and where they are, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm just thinking wrapping up all of those bills around and clearing them, and what are you going to do? Are you going to keep them in a would you then do trust for
Yes,
those properties?
definitely. So there are testamentary trust wills,
Mhm.
which are for those people who want to leave properties or estate asset in the generations to come. So, or it's a great, but testamentary trust wills are even perfect for people who've got young children. Okay, they're
Right.
also perfect for people who've got you know older children who are going through separation.
Ah,
Because don't forget, if you've got an inheritance coming, or you receive an inheritance and you are going through a separation that ties to the family law section, then that inheritance forms part of the asset pool of the people that are separating. So
okay.
a lot of wealthy people, or people in general, who've got a property or two properties, they want to leave it to their children, then they do what is called a testamentary trust will.
So you'd leave it so that it goes to them, but it's not actually a
Part of the separation or asset pool in when people are separating. So
right.
yeah, so there are ways around it. Again, that's I could talk about testamentary trust wills all day, Tricia. So they're a
No,
different
this is
topic.
it. That's where my mind is going. I'm going, oh, this scenario and that scenario
Yeah,
and other things like that. So
that's a definitely broader topic.
so we might have a conversation later on about that, because that might be another topic altogether. Anyway, but let's keep it thing a little bit more concise right now.
Yeah.
So for yourself, what does financial well-being mean to Sarah?
So financial well-being isn't just about money for me.
No.
Like I said to you at the start, I've got four young children. So how do I protect the assets that we have for them?
Mhm.
And again, it ties up to who's going to be the perfect guardians for my children if I do pass
Yeah.
away tomorrow? So I've got my own will, and I've had to really detail who the guardians will be. how the people that are going to look after my children will use my assets for only my children's benefit.
Mhm.
You've got sometimes people come to us and say, "Oh, I've listed this guardian," or, the person's passed away or whatever, and the guardian's not even looking at the best interest of the children. So
Right.
there's a lot to think about. So financial well-being to me isn't just about money. It's about, okay, what's going to happen in the future when I do pass away? Who's going to inherit? Who's going to be the perfect person to look after my children?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
Because generally too, the estate will be worth more than what it takes to bring up the children to a
def-
degree. If you've got
definitely.
a home, if
Yeah.
you've got an asset
If
to
you've got an
sell,
asset, yeah, definitely.
but you don't want them just suspended on a great lifestyle. You want them to be
Yeah.
kept in the lifestyle they've gone through.
Yeah.
Well, but not
Yeah.
living. If you were living like us in Attwood and Craigieburn,
Yeah.
you don't want them to go and buy a house in Camberwell because they've got the money now.
Yeah.
If I, not being rude on anything else, but you want them to be able to live with an asset that's left for them when they're an adult child as well, so that they can get ahead a bit more as well.
Yeah.
Can that be right?
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think the best take for me was that, okay, who's going to manage my children to the way that I'm doing it as well?
Yeah.
So I don't want them to take the money and spend it on holidays,
Yes.
and then they come back and left with nothing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so you really have to think about all that and put it in an estate planning document,
Right.
which is a will.
And when you create a will around thinking of children, can you then also designate that we choose that our children go to this school or have this sort of
Definitely.
upbringing, and there's a money left for that
Yes,
purpose?
definitely. So
Mm.
that's the benefit of having everything documented.
Right.
Obviously, circumstances change. Your child might, or the people looking after your child might move interstate. You don't know what the situation will be. So you can't really always say, oh, okay, but I want them to go to this school. Okay. So, but
Right.
at least if you document it or even write it in a letter of wishes, then that guardian, whoever's looking after your children, will say, okay, these were their wishes. These were the parents' wishes. Let's see if we can work around them.
Correct. Because basically in the end, you've given them a guideline, I suppose, of what you want or how
Definitely.
you'd like them brought up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's the school, it's the ethos of the school that you take them to if you move interstate or something,
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
it be?
Yeah.
Okay. As part of financial awareness, are prenups a big thing? And what do they do? What's the nitty-gritties of
Uh,
those?
so the benefits of having we call it a binding financial agreement.
Okay.
So you can have one, as prenup, which is called, you can call it that, prior to marriage, before marriage, or during marriage, or after marriage, or after
Oh.
separation. So you can have them aligned with your circumstances.
Mm.
So they're great because it's, say, for example, I come into the relationship with a lot of wealth or, three properties or whatever it might be. I wish I had that. And then the person that I'm getting into a relationship with might come with nothing.
Uh-huh.
So we can draft this document to say, okay, I've come into this relationship with this kind of assets. I'm walking away with this amount of assets that I own, and then you walk away with nothing if we do separate in the future. It's also a great benefit because if we do have assets together during the relationship, so we buy a property together, then it's only that property that will be separated according to our entitlements,
Right.
okay? Instead of what I bought into the relationship.
Right. So I'll
So,
walk away with my
yeah,
3 properties plus 50% of whatever we've
whatever.
created together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for if you've got children and everything else, that all changes.
Definitely, yeah.
Right.
Everybody's circumstances are different.
Yeah.
Someone's entitlement might be less or more, just depending on their circumstances. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there are, the court says, oh, there's a four-step process. If people do separate, which means, contribution is a big one. what we brought into the relationship, or he's worked more or I've worked less, or whatever it might be.
Mm.
Health, future needs. I might not have the capacity to work for another certain. Oh, I have an accident all of a sudden, so
Right.
my future needs will be higher. So family law is quite complex in itself, but we can also avoid it. There are a
Mm.
lot of things, there are a lot of documents you can draft to avoid litigation or disputes in the future.
Even just down to family law, what sort of support do you offer? I suppose you can go down the line of separating,
Yep.
again, doing it yourself and getting a document off of Google or something.
Online. Yeah.
But in the end, to know exactly what you're entitled to, surely having that support of a lawyer is financially beneficial?
It's definitely
Mm.
crucial. Like, it's very important to have a lawyer look over these kind of documents that you're drafting or give
Right.
you legal advice on what you're going into. So in the family law aspect, I do deal with a lot of divorce applications, binding financial agreements, prenups, we've discussed them, just family law in general. So people are
Mm.
separating. What's my entitlement? What can I
Right.
walk away with? There's property and there's parenting. So
Uh,
people come to us disputing children aspects. What's in the best interest of the children. So we really need to think about, yes, we can walk away, but what about the children aspect? How's
right.
the arrangement going to be? Who's going to look after the children full time, or do we have shared custody? So there's a lot of things, you can try and avoid it before it goes to the court aspect, the court litigation side. Just see a lawyer, get all these documents drafted if there are disputes or if you see something happening.
And it also, I would think, saves you from being bulldozed by somebody else so that you're protected. Because it is about the future. You might be going through stress and anguish right now,
Yeah.
but it's about your future and making sure that you've got what you need to. Wouldn't that be right?
Definitely, it's about
Mm.
the future, yeah. It's about protecting the future,
Yeah.
You've got children, it's about protecting them. If there are issues within the family violence, we see a lot of that happening as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I get you.
so
Okay. So have that in place. So family law as well. So you would go all the way through with that from organising the binding agreement for the financial settlement as well.
yep,
Can you
definitely.
do a financial settlement without actually then going through the divorce process?
So we always encourage that families or, couples who are separating to split everything before they have a divorce order in
Right.
place. Because once you apply for divorce, you've got 12 months to sort out your property affairs.
Right.
So we always say sort out your property affairs first and then apply for a divorce.
Uh-huh.
So there are a lot of things, like I said, people can contact me and we can have an initial
Yeah, I
call
think that's
just to give them,
probably the
yeah,
best
just to
way
give
because
them a
there's
bit of
too many scenarios.
everyone's situation is different. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, good to know that you do that as well. It's sort of a really good holistic business that you've got around family, isn't it? Family security and family
Yeah.
future
Yeah.
with, yes, family law, and also to protecting the future of
Yeah,
everybody involved as well.
definitely.
Mm. What about podcasts or books that you read? Do you have anything major? You don't have time to read books.
So
You're a mum
always
of 4 kids and a business owner.
always exactly. Raising a family is hard work in itself.
The latest trend in children's books these days.
I can sit here and talk to you about it all day.
Yes.
But
Yeah, no worries. All good there.
yeah.
Podcasts you listen to, anything like that you could recommend for
Mm,
people?
there are quite a lot of podcasts, just for wills in general. So I can
Yeah.
definitely put some links in if
Yeah, yeah,
you
beaut.
want to. Yeah.
No worries. Sarah, how can people best contact you? We'll link in the show notes your
Yeah,
website and your basic detail.
yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to, you know, resources that you have for people?
Yep, so I've definitely got a free resource. It's called an estate planning document. So
Uh-huh.
people can reach out to me if they want one. So it basically just lists all the general things, executors, what are executors,
What are they? Yeah.
who can be appointed as executors, who you
Mhm.
want to appoint as your executors, beneficiaries. So it lists a few things. So if anybody that wants a copy, they can reach out to me. I'm sure you'll link it somewhere how they can reach out to me. So
Yeah, it'll all be in the show notes. So we'll go
yeah,
from there with all of that. This podcast will be on the Community House YouTube channel,
beautiful.
but people don't need to be in the community to be able to watch it. So
Yeah.
you're Victorian based, basically, isn't it? Do
Yes,
you
that's
work with
correct. Yeah.
people from interstate, or is it very much a Victorian law?
No, it's just at the moment just a Victorian law
Okay,
firm. Mhm.
beautiful. So we know that if you are in Victoria, by all means, you can reach out to Sarah and pop on her website, and there'll be a link there for a contact her page.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can go from there. Sarah, thank you so much again. I really do appreciate your
Thank you.
time and your energy today has been brilliant. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks so
Okay,
much, Tricia, for
take
having
care.
me. Appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
worries at all. Take care. Yeah, it was a great discussion with Sarah today about wills, and it's a very somber discussion, really. It's a bit hard to find the joys in, discussing your demise, but we're all human. Nobody's going to be here forever. But if we can leave the gift of having everything in order to those that are there behind us, then how good is that? Make sure that the family know your instructions quite clearly so that you do and your estate goes the way you want it to go. And that there's not breakdowns in family communications and relationships afterwards because of the trauma and stress that comes around when you don't have something in place as a will. It's very confronting, to believe me. I'm really feeling it at the moment, and I am, though, pleased that I have it all in place for my family for when that day comes. Anyway, blessings to all. Be well and healthy. All right, take care.